ensuring that our service members are treated with gratitude and respect for their service, and that they get all the support they need from the Department of Defense. Today, I ordered a series of steps to ensure fair treatment for the California National Guard soldiers who may have received incentive bonuses and tuition assistance improperly as a result of errors and, in some cases, criminal behavior by other members of the California Guard. First, I've ordered the suspension of all efforts to collect reimbursement from affected California Guard members. And that suspension will continue until I'm satisfied that our process is working. Second, I've asked our top personnel official in the Department of Defense, Peter Levine, to assess the situation and to establish a streamlined and centralized process no later than January 1st of 2017, and to ensure that it is capable at that time of resolving all cases by July 1st, 2017. Our goal is to have a process that honors the commitment of service members and also our responsibility to the taxpayer. Thank you, and let me now move to the Defense Ministerial here. Very important time for NATO, coming out of the Warsaw Summit, preparing for the next summit, facing challenges from the east, from the south, from the north, and also from within. And we've had a productive set of meetings today. They'll continue into this evening. I have briefed already allies on U.S. continuing efforts to strengthen deterrence here. First of all, we are contributing a persistent rotational armored brigade combat team, and I'll give you some details of that in just a moment, but it's a major sign of the U.S. commitment to strengthening deterrence here. It's not the only one. I'll remind you that we're also positioning an armored brigade combat team's worth of equipment here, and that's on top of the 2 brigades that are already here in Europe. Those are part of those, and especially the rotational armored brigade combat team specifically, is part of our European reassurance initiative. The $3.4 billion of funds in this fiscal year. I remind you that that's quadruple what we had allocated last year. This first rotational brigade will deploy to Europe in February. It'll be from Colorado, and I'll walk you through its agenda. It'll have an initial exercise in Poland, and after that, the brigade will send company-sized units to Bulgaria, Romania, and the Baltic states. Companies will then remain in the Baltics until the NATO battalions arrive. I'll say more about them shortly. In June, the brigade will conduct Exercise Sabre Strike in Poland and throughout the Baltic states. And in July, it will move again to Bulgaria and Romania for exercises Swift Response and Sabre Guardian, during which one tank company will transit the Black Sea to Georgia to participate in exercise Noble Partner. And I appreciate all these countries that will host this brigade. Together, we're strengthening deterrence here. Now, in addition, the United States will lead a battalion in Poland as part of NATO's new enhanced forward presence. This is on top of what I've said already. This was a decision made by the alliance's leaders in Warsaw. The United States will lead a battalion in Poland and deploy an entire battle-ready battalion task force of approximately 900 soldiers from the 2nd Cavalry Regiment, which is based in Turkey. We'll send a headquarters element, based in Germany, I'm sorry. We will send a headquarters element, 3 Stryker-equipped maneuver companies with a mobile gun system, artillery battery, as well as anti-tank, explosive ordnance disposal, and engineer capabilities. And we're pleased to announce that Romania and the United Kingdom will provide companies that enhance our battalion's combat power and its survivability as it performs its forward-stationed deterrence mission there in Poland. Our battalion will arrive in Poland in April of next year and be positioned near the city of Orzysz in northeastern Poland. To ensure its readiness, the United States will immediately upon the onset of the deployment transfer operational control of this U.S. battalion to SAC Europe, Supreme Allied Commander Europe, and place it under the tactical control of a Polish brigade. This is significant. We're encouraging others to make the same kind of command and control arrangements with NATO, so that one has the structure, the location, the sourcing, the partners, and the command and control to NATO for our commitment to enhanced forward presence, which our president committed to, as the other heads of state did at the Warsaw Summit. We also spoke about how the alliance can bolster deterrence and defense in the Southeast in particular, and I want to say something about that as well. We also made a commitment as the United States to a battalion from our rotational armored brigade combat team to associate and train with the Romanian multinational brigade. That as part of the enhanced tailored presence oriented towards the southeastern portion of NATO. Now this afternoon, that was the session already had. This afternoon, we'll discuss how we can continue to adapt NATO to ensure it's ready for the challenges not only of today, but tomorrow. The meeting will continue into this evening. And I'm sure, and we'll talk about NATO's southern flank, including counter-ISIL. In addition, this place gives me an opportunity to have a number of useful bilateral and trilateral meetings. I'll just report I had a very good meeting once again with my Turkish colleague whom I visited in Ankara. That was a very productive, very practical a discussion of a whole host of alliance issues. Turkey's a very strong ally, of course, of NATO, so we talked about a number of alliance issues, and of course we talked, as we did in Ankara, further about the coalition's activities in against ISIL, a coalition of which, of course, Turkey is an important part. We didn't conclude any new arrangements, but we continued these very important discussions with a very good partner. And by the way, the defense minister himself is a very good partner of mine. We also had a trilateral meeting with the French defense minister, Jean-Yves Le Drian, whose purpose was to read out to our Turkish colleague the meeting held yesterday in Paris. That was very productive. Jean-Yves gave an excellent summary of yesterday's proceedings, and we could then proceed to discuss it, all three of us. We all want to keep ISIL under sustained pressure. That's the key, and defeat it in both Iraq and Syria, and everybody shares that objective. So that's pretty much the readout. Let me now take some questions here, and I apologize for the length of that, but there's a lot of detail involved. I hope that was helpful to you.
You have to get him back in your meeting, so it's pretty tight. Tara, I cut you off the other day, so you get the first question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Just back on the re-enlistment bonuses issue. If I read correctly, there are members of the military that could end up still having to pay depending on the outcome of this appeals process. Is that true?
Well, under the law, we have to keep that option open, so that, but the point is that there will be no collections. They're suspended now, and we will put in place, and there won't be any more collections until we've put in place a process that can expeditiously and fairly deal with these issues, obviously according to the law.
Mr. Secretary, I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your discussions with some of the members about RACA. We've been told that there are some concerns about starting RACA right away because of there may be a desire to wait until there are some more successes in Mosul so that some of the forces are not strained. Can you just give us a little bit of an idea of what other countries might be talking about and what they intend to bring to this and what your time is?
Well, again, this is part of our plan. So we know that the activities in Iraq and Syria are overlapping. They overlap today. They'll be overlapping as because we're conducting them simultaneously. So in our plans, which are not just U.S. plans, as you know, but coalition plans and the resourcing of those plans, we've taken into account that fact. So we've anticipated this. This has been long planned, and we have the resources and meetings like the one I had yesterday are times when we make sure we're all coordinated on providing the resources. Aircraft, tankers, and so forth. And I think we gave you some of the detail of that. But it's all oriented towards being able to conduct all the operations we need to in Iraq and Syria. And by the way, for the United States, also elsewhere, like Libya and Afghanistan.
And we were also told that you don't expect to seek additional U.S. forces. Is that accurate?
Our plan now is not to, we don't have any, according to our plan, we have the resources we need if you're talking about troop levels. So that's our plan. However, I will say what I've always said, which is we're going to win this. And so if there's anything that we need to do to accelerate, I'm prepared to ask for it. But in our plans, that won't be needed.
Phil?
Just to follow up, so I think in your interview this morning, you said that it would be a few weeks until the start of the Raqqa offensive.
Weeks.
Could you just
Weeks. I can't be more specific than
so
that,
maybe not,
Phil.
So it could be 7 weeks, or you don't want to be pinned down to a certain 21 days or something. You want to be.
Yeah, I mean we know what we're doing. This is as always a matter when you're positioning forces and so forth. We have a plan to do that and a schedule to do that. And we're going to execute to that plan, and that plan has us generating those forces in a matter of weeks. That's really all I want to say.
Generating them,
Generating them and positioning them for the isolation of Raqqa.
Right. So it would be incorrect for us to go out and report that because right now there's a lot of people picking up on that story saying within 3 weeks, basically the operation is starting.
I think it will be within weeks. That's what I want to say, and not many weeks. I don't know where you want to get me to here.
Alana?
Back to the National Guard story real quick. I understand that there are laws in place, but is there any internal discussion about forgiving or just kind of letting some of this go?
Oh, there's definitely a discussion which involves not only the, to me, paramount issue of fairness, but there is also the law. And so I think we need to look at that simultaneously. But we're operating within the law, and I am operating within my authorities to suspend collections starting now, and I'm exercising those authorities.
Can that authority be extended further beyond wholesale, or?
I assume so, and but I don't expect to have to do that because my instructions are to get this resolved.
Gordon?
Secretary, Turkey, you said you had productive conversations. During this week, we've kind of seen this thing unfold a little bit, trying to get some of this rep between Iraq and resolved. Can you give us an assessment of where you felt like it may have gotten? And my read of Prime Minister Abadi's remarks was he wanted to hear more from Turkey about sovereignty and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much as I've said before, Gordon. We all agree on the basic principles, which include Iraqi sovereignty, includes Turkey's role in the coalition, and we're working on the practicalities of that. And that's what our conversation is. Very professional discussion. This is among people who have worked together for many years, not just me and the defense ministers, but importantly, our militaries as well. So we're working through the practicalities that reflect the principles that we share. And I'm sorry, and also the need to defeat ISIL, which is a threat to all of us. And don't forget, Turkey was attacked also and is threatened by ISIL. And just recently, we killed someone whom we know was planning terrorist attacks within Turkey, and we eliminated that individual. We can, I think. Peter, I hope I'm not going too far on you here, Peter.
Sir, you can say what you want.
Well, we did.
Do you know what, or can you say anywhere where in Turkey? Or
No. You already got it. But I'd say it unabashedly, and we'd do it again. No. This is on the battlefield. This is somebody whom we know was planning external attacks to include in Turkey. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear on that. Thank you.
Last one is to Laurent.
Mr. Secretary, do you think it would be a good thing for the coalition if Turkey participated militarily to the offensive on Raqqa?
Well, we're trying to get to a point where we can work with, and we already are at the point where we're working extensively with the Turkish military in Syria. Don't forget, we're right now doing that. That has had a very significant result in the seizure of Dabiq, a very important city in the narrative of ISIL. And that was accomplished by our partnership with the Turks and in the usual way through capable and motivated local forces. So we're looking for other opportunities to, including further within Syria to include Raqqa. So that's been part of our discussions.
We got to get the secretary back in. He's cut out of this meeting.